Hey guys, I recently participated in a case event for Set 2 at Legendary Realms Terrain in New York, and we only had about a week to test the Set 2 meta before going and playing. So I use a deck that I'm familiar with, and on my channel I have Captain Ginyu Blue for Set 1, but this is the Set 2 version that I altered to play in the event. So there's some changes, and I'll talk about that. And this deck profile is also on Mr. Waffle's channel, and we go into detail about talking about my matches that day, the meta, and so forth. But I did miss some things, so this profile will serve as an additional profile for my deck, and also some things I might have missed from my perspective. So we'll start with attacks. 3 overpowering attack. You got to run this if you're running allies. I'm running 5 allies. You have to run it if you're running Ginyu. So just too good not to run. Does a lot. Blue Neck Beam ×3. I'm still running this card because against Krillin and Nappa, some of my worst matchups, I like to pop them off level 1, keep them at that bad level 2, and just stall out to win with my allies and Dragon Balls. And also, I was expecting a lot of God Goku physical beatdown, so this can also act as a physical block that gains me 4 stages. And it's a choice. I decided to run this over a defense or additional defense, and it worked out great yesterday. Blue Lunge, endurance, filters out my drills and setups. Why not run it? Does a lot of damage and has endurance, which is actually crucial still, even in this meta. Blue Betrayal ×3. You have to run this card if you're running blue. You have to run it ×3. I mean, it does so much for one card. It doesn't do that much damage, but you got to run it. I mean, it will get you out of sticky situations, and it's always been good. It was even good in the old game. Blue Round Throw. In my Set 1 version of the build, I didn't run this card like a fool, and then I realized how good it is because it does so much. Instead of running like a generic block to block energies, I could run this. It does that purpose, but it also can serve as an attack to help against Krillin and pound them down. Nappa, same thing, and it's a really good card. Blue Head Knock. I wanted more endurance in my deck. My original version of this build had hardly any endurance and more tech, but this card's techy enough to run. Like, for example, I'm not running Wall Breaker, as you're going to see. Some people are going to think I suck because I didn't want Wall Breaker, but the card, I still think the card is broken for what it does, but I didn't need it because I expected a lot of God Goku, Krillin, maybe even Nappa, maybe in other, Ginyus, and a lot of those decks don't really level consistently, except by Slime Anger, so this can stop that. And Wall Breaker does, no damage. I need cards to do a lot of damage because blue has not many modifiers, so this card does 5 life cards. That's in critical range, so I made the choice to run 2 of these over things like Wall Breaker or even Devastating Blow, which I also don't run. And the only other attacks I do run are these 3 right here. 2 Withering Fire. Again, I'm not running Devastating Blow or Wall Breaker because those, even though they do a lot of techie type stuff, they don't do damage. I need to do damage in this deck because I don't have the modifiers like black or orange have. And this card in particular is one of the best cards in my deck because, again, bad matchups for me are like orange, other blue decks, especially black, and those have broken drills like Smoothness Drill, Aura Drill, Positioning Drill, and I can use this to get rid of those. So that combined with Blue Betrayal puts the pressure on my opponent and served me well yesterday. And of course, Blue Terror, staple. Don't ask if I got the promo one. I'd have to kill you. Let's see, 5 allies. Nappa's in there if you can see them. The 4 obvious ones that you have to run, and then Nappa's a choice that I ran because there's a lot of people running setups, especially Black Krillin, one of my worst matchups. Black has some broken setups, so you use that to put pressure on them early. If you can neck beam them off level 1, you pretty much stall out and can win the game with that. He does a lot for 1 card, so he was a good addition to win me a lot of games yesterday. And for setups and drills, I run Villainous Visage. You got to run that card. It does, I mean, if you get that out against Krillin and they try to Destructo Disc you for 5 or more, you're going to take it and then you're going to mill them for 10. So it puts the pressure on your opponent. It makes them play awkwardly to get around that. And, You know, I wasn't running it originally, but the card is amazing. Visiting the past, I don't need to tell you about that card. Staple, broken. Dragon Radar, I'm running Dragon Balls, as you're going to see, so why not run that? Blue Trick, running Dragon Balls, it has endurance. I'm running this over Face Smash because of the endurance, and that's the only reason why. Face Smash was not that good in this deck because I like to have this on the board so that if my Nappa gets pinged off the field, I have this as insurance. I have all these setups as insurance against getting killed, pretty much. You know, it makes my opponent make a decision. Do I want to kill Nappa and then have me have all these setups at my disposal? You know, so the deck runs, it like pisses off my opponent, basically. Positioning Drill, that pisses off my opponent, obviously, for obvious reasons. The card is amazing. You can cycle back, blue betrayals, and all this other stuff. So you got to run that for running blue. And this is a tech choice that I made the night before. I was making my deck list for the event. And normally this would be blue Biting Drill, but I decided to go blue Lifting Drill. It's a new card from set 2 because I expect a lot of black. And again, the first sentence of this card, if it's discarded from my hand, it comes into play. So that right there is annoying. But also the modifiers, pretty much. The modifiers, all my attacks do +1 life. That's what I need in this deck so that my power does 5 life and most of my attacks do critical damage from there. And I like that a lot. So this card served me well yesterday, and I liked it over Biting Drill. And there was times I wanted to have Biting Drill on the board, but this card served its purpose, and I think it's really good and really underrated. And as I mentioned before, if you can see this with all the lighting, all 7 Dragon Balls. All 7. So it's an alternate victory. I don't like running decks that just run one singular victory. So Beatdown is my, I guess, main victory, and this is my secondary victory. In case I get beat down, I can ball out and win. Utility type cards, stare down. You got to run 3 of these. At least 2, I should say. Okay, so it does a lot. You got to run that. 2 spheres. I think yesterday I probably want to run. I should have ran 3. I mean, black is the best deck type in set 2, I would think. Even though there's things that can beat it, it has some ridiculous event cards that can really screw you over, and spheres can stop that. Plus, I like the villain sphere more than the hero sphere. So, I mean, I would still say in set 2, unless you have like other ways around it, you should run spheres still, at least 1. Because there's some deadly stuff out there that you have to stop, like Orange Destruction, Black Foreshadowing, and so forth. And 2 body switches. I mean, I treated this like a physical defense almost. Like if I'm getting beat down against God Goku and I'm at 0 and they're pounding me and I'll take a couple attacks, then I'll use that to go to level 2 and get my allies out from the discards and trick them from there. So, yeah, I still run this. I mean, I know I can lose my drills, but still a good card. And defense now. Time. Staple, obviously. 3 blue Narrow Escape. Endurance is just so crucial. I can take, some damage if I have to and endure it with this. It's one of the good things about blue, the huge amount of endurance. And also I can, with this, recur my Withering Fires and blue Neck Beams if I have to. So why not? It recurs cards back to the top of the deck and has a lot of endurance. Blue Guard, in case you don't know, if that card gets discarded from your hand by a card effect, you can banish it to draw a card. So against black decks, they Mastery. I discard that from my Mastery and then draw a card. Against God Goku, I use it as a physical block with my Mastery, draw a card. And it was a meta choice for yesterday. It's a really good card in general. So running 3 of those would have been a good idea too, but 2 did the job. 3 blue Leverage. Yes, this is the original version from Babidi Saga. Original foils, very sexy, very sexy. You got to run these. I have 3 of them original foils, so obviously I'm going to run them. The card is like, I don't know, broken, I would say. It's just really good. You block a physical, and then you're going to get a +1 card advantage from it, or you're going to get card advantage of some kind from it, and then you get the other 2 cards of the 3 back on top of your deck in any order. So it's a really good card, really good block, and I would say that if you're running blue, you probably have to run it. Blue Wrist Block. This is a meta choice yesterday, for the event that I played in. And against God Goku or Nappa Black, I would say, anything that runs some physicals, even Nail, Namekian, you can use that to stop their physical and discard their drills that can hurt you, their setups that hurt you. But again, the lack of endurance bothered me, and I probably, if I had to like probably do this over again, I'll test, but I would say get rid of one of these for another sphere, and then maybe another one of these for another blue guard to put the, give me higher chances against black, especially black Krillin. But this is the deck, and I kind of went over everything that I didn't go over in the other deck profile with Mr. Waffles. But again, I didn't run Wallbreaker. What else? I'm trying to think here. Did not run Devastating Blow. Some people are going to think I'm crazy for that, but this deck worked really well. I did win first place with this yesterday. It was a tough tournament. I played a lot of my teammates, and actually I want to thank my teammates from New Hampshire and from Massachusetts, because without them, this deck wouldn't be what it is now. They build really good decks, and we test frequently, especially for these big events. And this deck was altered because of them. My original build, wasn't as good as it is now. And with their help running the gauntlet and stuff like that, this has changed. So it's a team effort, and I just was the one that pulled it out yesterday. But any one of them could have won. So here it is. Hope you like it. I hope you especially like these and that. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you around. Hopefully make another deck profile. I got to make something else besides Blue Ginyu, right?